morning, we are getting a better look at that damage left behind by Hurricane Milton. It made landfall at about 8:30 last night as a Category 3 storm.
Yeah, Category 3, very high winds, as you can see from this video right here from Wellington, Florida. A lot of debris down. Reporter Aaron Farrar from our sister station WJXT is live in St. Augustine this morning. What are you seeing out there, Aaron?
Good morning. The story for here in St. Augustine has been flooding, just like here at an area that's known as downtown St. Augustine, particularly at the Bridge of Lions. That's where we are right now, King Street. This is what it has been arguably the most extensive flooding of the morning that we've been out here since about 3 a.m. That flooding, particularly here, stretches at this intersection, and then it goes down into these two neighborhoods. The one interesting thing about all of this is we just spoke with a couple of people who live in St. Augustine, and they actually feel like they've been spared. They said that this kind of flooding is typical. This is what they prepared for. This is why that they put a lot of sandbags against their buildings and some of their homes, why they use sealants and foam to try to prevent any floodwaters from getting inside. They feel like this was not as bad as they thought it would be, and that is good news for them this morning. Of course, one of the stories is that this area and this part of St. Augustine, a lot of different pockets are going to deal with flooding like this. So when you go down the street several blocks down into the part of St. Augustine away from this area, you will see different side streets that have flooding just like this. That is going to be the story of just like waiting for all of that to get better and to improve. The good thing also is that over the course of the morning since we've been here, the flooding has improved over the last several hours as well. Yes, it still exists, but it has not gotten worse. So that is the good news for people who live in St. Augustine. But again, this is what they were preparing for, and what they took a lot of extra steps just to prevent any of this water from getting inside these buildings. We do want to do one more thing. Let's take a quick walk up the street as we see a St. Augustine police officer driving around. This is something that they've been doing all morning long, making sure that these streets were, one, safe for people to even possibly go on, and if they weren't, they will block them off. But these are some of the buildings that are along this riverfront. What's interesting is that we haven't seen any water get to where you see some of those sandbags like those in the distance. Several businesses like that have their shops set up this way, but the good news is that at least on this side of where we are near the Matanzas River, no water has gotten into any of businesses. However, several blocks down the street, that may be a different story, because earlier this morning that flooding was a little bit more significant farther down there. That's where we were around 4 o'clock this morning. But again, it's really hard to tell what the extent of any water damage is until a lot of this recedes and business owners are able to go and assess the damage on their own. Reporting live in downtown St. Augustine, I'm Aaron Farrar.
Aaron, appreciate it. Yeah, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And it looks like, as you said, maybe they were spared there in St. Augustine. Strong winds, though, did not spare this crane that collapsed in St. Petersburg, Florida, along the Gulf Coast. A mangled crane hanging out of a high-rise building right now, and a bunch of debris down on the ground. Some of the crews said they didn't have enough time to secure some of these cranes. So, fortunately, no reports of any serious injuries because of it. When we're not on the air, by the way, you can watch all of these live cameras and see more on Milton's damage at click2houston.com.